Hi friends, I'm using YouTube this week. What I did was I created and recorded my PowerPoint, I saved it as an MP4, and then I uploaded it to YouTube. What a great conversation about our OOPS results. I really appreciate everyone's honesty with the sharing and reflecting. 4 questions that a lot of people missed were the ones about anxiety, the one on the home influence on personality, the one about video games, and the one about brain sides. As I was reading about family and personality, I was really thinking from a diversity perspective, and I wonder how you would have answered if you considered our non-traditional families that include adopted children, surrogate parents, blended and extended families, and so on. That said, it was really interesting how Ormrod justified the right answer for all these questions, and I think it really highlights how complex learning and understanding learning really is. As I thought about the conversations regarding anxiety, I also found myself thinking about Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, which incidentally is part of our week 4 reading. I also kept thinking about your comments in which you judged your own performance. I only got X right. I tried to get the answers instead of following my gut. Some of you even stated taking the test gave you anxiety. I found myself commenting on the fact that you viewed this as a test, despite it not impacting your grade at all. I don't think anyone shared that they viewed it as an opportunity to reflect until you were forced to do so as part of the discussion. This, of course, led me to wonder what this all says about high-stakes testing. And you know my philosophy on testing. Anyone anxious about our midterm? So the midterm, great job. If you haven't written your question yet, no worries. You have until Sunday evening. I really like this exam because it allows you to bring to the surface the issues that you personally see as important for others to know. I also like that we can have an exam that's independent of you having the same version of the book. After all, in a class about learning theory, it'd be pretty hypocritical of me to incite anxiety, force you all to learn what I think is important in the way that I feel you should learn. As the teacher, I can easily see who's read and who's processed and who's skimmed and who's basically done a scavenger hunt for a question. I'm really happy to see that there's some questions about action research, and thank you for adding the AI or not comments. Our midterm continues into week 4 when you move on to the next chapter, chapter 2. See if you can create a scenario and then ask the test taker something that requires them to apply something they read in order to answer your question. Make sure you're on the right tab or the right sheet as well. Week 4, there's a lot of reading. Chapter 2 is really text heavy and long, but some of it is a refresher from undergrad or a credential class. Make sure you look at my notes on the resources and reading tab as well. You'll find the additional resources that are a nice supplement to week 3's conversation about the brain, but also this week's brain research sections. You'll also read chapter 2 of Phillips and Carr, which is the free book, and it'll be very helpful as you work on plotting out your action research case study plan. Our week 4 discussion is about the main learning theorists that educators talk about. You'll need to create a thread for your own group, and then you can minimize the other group's threads to help stay organized. Use that little arrow triangle thing. Your job with this week's discussion is to take a side, a theorist, even if you don't fully agree with it. Hash it out with each other and the other theorist's defense team. If you have a group of 3, decide how to divide into defense teams. By the end of the week, shift gear and talk about the message from the debate. Pretend you were an audience of the debate and keep an open mind for this part of the conversation. Now, the action research plan. I really enjoyed dialoguing with those of you who joined Zoom or Voxed me. My big message this week is that action research is about a very, very small change you make to your practice. It's not a dissertation or some great big research endeavor like the articles you read. Keep in mind that you're doing this plan just to start thinking. You may completely change your plan once you start reading the literature on your topic. You are also not trying to prove anything. You're simply exploring the impact of some different pedagogical approaches on your students' learning. If we look at only will X increase, we might miss that it actually decreases. Or we might overlook the fact that it took 6 days to prep for a 10-minute lesson. Not worth it. We might miss that it brought learners out of their shell and instilled confidence. Spend some time again looking at the examples and the description to guide you. Now, read Phillips and Carr before you do your AI outline. I'm having you use AI as I want you to get used to it as a tool to support you and not replace you. The directions, they're pretty scripted, but let me know if you aren't quite sure. If you're in a group of 3, you'll have a long outline as you'll have 3 different prompts. After you've looked at the AI generated outline, maybe go back and look at the examples on the 5th tab of the assignment description. Skim them, look at the headings and stuff like that, and see how they differ and help you decide what to keep and what to discard. Please remember, it's a process. It's not a contract. That's it from me. Reach out anytime. I'm on Zoom again tomorrow, Saturday, from 2 to 3. I'm looking forward to another really great week.